Imagine a moment in the wilderness when a wild animal, overcome with sadness, seeks help from a man. A crying bear leads him on a remarkable journey, unraveling a story of courage, compassion, and an extraordinary bond between species. Kyle's retreat in nature. Kyle, a veterinarian in the midst of his veterinary practice, yearned for a place where he could truly unwind and find solace. He decided to reward himself with a small cabin nestled in the serene woods, offering a respite from the cacophony of the city. Surrounded by nature, he discovered a sense of tranquility that rejuvenated his spirit. The cabin, though modest in size, bordered a nature reserve, ensuring that the only sounds that reached Kyle's ears were those of animals and the whispers of the forest. It became his sanctuary, a place where he could escape the pressures of his profession and reconnect with the wilderness he cherished. An unexpected encounter. One fateful day, while enjoying a peaceful stroll in the woods, Kyle's tranquil ambiance was shattered by the sight of a bear in the distance. The bear, initially at a safe distance, began moving closer to Kyle, defying his instincts. But what caught Kyle's attention was the presence of a tiny cub beside the bear, a vulnerable creature caught in the danger that now loomed before them. Kyle knew that retreating wouldn't suffice. He had to try a different strategy. Stretching his arms in the air, he made himself as tall as possible, hoping to intimidate the bear and prevent further approach. He stomped his feet, creating noise and shouting loudly, all in an effort to ward off the bear's advance. To Kyle's surprise, the bear didn't display any aggression as expected. Instead, her behavior seemed to convey distress and desperation. Intrigued by this unexpected response, Kyle's veterinary expertise kicked in, urging him to investigate further. Could the bear be injured? Was she seeking help? Driven by his deep connection to animals and an insatiable curiosity, Kyle cautiously moved closer to the distressed bear. As he did, she stopped approaching and began walking toward the nearby river, glancing back as if beckoning him to follow. Kyle's instincts told him that he couldn't ignore this plea for assistance, a mother's cry for help. Trusting his intuition, Kyle followed the bear, their destinies intertwining amidst the river's melodic murmur. As they approached the riverbank, Kyle's eyes widened with shock and concern. A pile of fishing nets lay almost in the middle of the river, moving ever so slightly. It became clear that the bear's distress was rooted in the entangled fate of her cub, trapped in the unforgiving grip of those nets. The bear circled the tangled mess, desperately attempting to free her cub, but the intricate web of ropes seemed impenetrable. Every time the water flowed over the nets, the baby bear was submerged, its strength waning with each passing moment. The mother bear's silent plea for help resonated within Kyle's heart, igniting a sense of purpose and determination. Realizing that time was of the essence, Kyle faced a dilemma. He had no tools with him, and returning home to retrieve one would mean precious minutes lost. The cub's life hung by a thread, and he couldn't afford to waste any more time. Driven by resourcefulness and an unwavering dedication to save lives, Kyle scoured the riverbank for a solution. Finally, his eyes fell upon a sharp-edged rock, a crude tool that, in this moment, held the potential to become an instrument of salvation. Wading into the water, his hands trembling with adrenaline, Kyle carefully maneuvered the rock to cut through the ropes of the fishing nets. The task was arduous and treacherous, each motion carrying the risk of injury. Yet, driven by compassion and an unwavering resolve, he pressed on, ignoring the pain that seared through his hands. Finally, the moment arrived. A delicate balance of relief and exhaustion as the last strand of rope was severed. Kyle reached into the entangled mass, gently cradling the weakened cub in his arms. He emerged from the water, his body aching, and yet his spirit alight with the knowledge that he had saved a life. As Kyle stood on the riverbank, the mother bear approached, her eyes filled with gratitude and concern for her precious cub. The little bear, weak but alive, tottered on shaky legs and stumbled toward its mother's warm embrace. In that tender reunion, Kyle witnessed a bond unbreakable, forged by a shared experience of survival and an unexpected alliance.